What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about Tupperware brand, tickers TUP. I want to give you a good breakdown of some of the data points, where I see things going, and some of the latest updates from the company. So I'm going to go over all of that. Make sure as first, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So based on Tuesday, it did close 7.27%, largely because of the broader market kind of pulling back a lot of the growth stocks, as well as this. So I see a lot of people talking about Proterra and how they did file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And when it comes down to Proterra, based on the market cap and balance sheet, a lot of people are trying to find similar companies such as Tupperware, and just kind of unfortunately adding a negative sentiment to that. So this is unfortunately what is causing Tupperware to have a little bit lower volume, as well as just it to go down. Shorts, of course, are taking advantage of that, as they typically do. At the time of doing this video, though, there hasn't been any press releases, no SEC filings. Last press release being the actual debt restructuring, which I did cover in a previous video. And I feel like this is a very good thing for Tupperware, at least in the short term, because it does give them at least a lot of leniency on the debt and the interest, plus it gives them access to roughly, I think it was $21 million, which should keep them afloat for a little bit. But ultimately, we will have to wait and find out for their upcoming Q2 earnings, which most likely should be within, I think, the next 2 weeks. My own opinion, not a financial advisor, of course. You guys always do your own due diligence. But as we do wait for that, though, we can kind of just enjoy the ride with shorts. So I'll give you guys a quick overview of what shorts are doing and everything. So based on Tuesday, at the end of the business day, shorts did increase 88,000 shares, 28.17% of the free float is being shorted. 11.36 million shares overall are being shorted, still on the threshold list, and I think this is the 4th consecutive day if I remember correctly. So when it comes down to the threshold list, in theory, I know it's not really actively monitored by the SEC, but in theory, when a stock is on the threshold list for 13 consecutive days, this is where I guess the SEC is supposed to force the market maker to buy all the, I guess, delinquent failure to delivers. And there is quite a lot out there. So definitely that could help for a good squeeze. But like I said, a lot of things have to line up perfectly for that. Cost to borrow average is currently 286.37%, and that has gone down a little bit, largely because of the huge amount of retail presence that's been getting in. And you can tell that based on the momentum indicator right here. So over, looks like since July the 21st, a lot of retail presence has been getting in. And when it comes down to new investors, some maybe might be lending out their shares, not knowing that they might be doing that potentially. So once again, when it does come down to the whole cost to borrow, it is just merely a supply and demand model based on the available shares. So of course, new investors getting in just allows them to obviously have more access to the shares. So once again, just on a side note, double check with your broker to see if you are lending out any shares. And this is only pertaining to if you have a margin account. If you have a cash account, they can't lend out your shares regardless. So just so you guys are aware. Stochastic is currently at 73. Nice bullish sentiment is starting to form though, so potentially could go up a little bit as a result. And based on this, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on Interactive Brokers. It does show the latest Morningstar report, which I do believe came out yesterday, and it does show the fair market value for Tupperware is $8.16. So just put that in perspective. As I've been saying, I do feel that the fair market value for Tupperware, just for the operations and the fundamental business, should be between the $6 to $7 mark. So that's not even counting a squeeze or naked shorting or anything like that. That's just the fundamental business. So it's interesting to see Morningstar also kind of reiterate that. So once again, let me know your viewpoint on that. Latest round of 13Fs. It's kind of mixed all over the place a little bit. So you do see some reducing their position 100%, some making brand new positions, and all of these transactions did occur during Q2. So once again, just kind of be aware of that. A lot of the bigger players such as BlackRock and Vanguard are going to be disclosing their positions most likely the tail end of this week, if not early next week. So that one will be a very interesting thing to see and watch. As far as this, so options activity, a lot of bullishness, oddly enough. And what I mean by that is, based on Tuesday, there was $1.36 million in calls being purchased versus 794,000 in puts. So based on this, people are anticipating for it to continue to trend up, which is very optimistic. If you are looking as far as this, so this is the grid view of just the calls. So if obviously you are bullish, then it is anticipated to get to around the $6 mark by the end of the 18th, so the following week. So once again, when it comes down to options activity, whether it be this or this, it is just merely a sentiment. It does not move the stock price. But when it comes down to some support and resistance points that you do need to be aware of, with it currently being at $4.85, it is right above this R1. So very strong support at that stage. So you'll really want to watch to see if that does hold. If not, 322 might be very realistic. But no matter what though, you do see that all of these have a fairly wide spread. So that does mean that there's going to be a hell of a lot of volatility. So you do have to be very comfortable with that if you are getting in or currently do hold Tupperware. So on a side note, just be aware of that. And $5.81 is that R2. So that is the next big resistance. So I do feel, like I said, it should be between this R2 and the R3, given just based on the fundamentals of the company itself, the operations, the assets, and so forth. Yes, it is going through and burning through quite a lot of cash, but I still do feel that there's a lot of good upside with this company, which I know some people are getting in because of that fact, and that's probably what drew attention to it. But now a lot of people are starting to focus on this aspect. So the whole naked shorting, especially through failure to delivers, and plus just the shorting in general and suppression. So I think a lot of people came to love the company and now are coming to love a short squeeze. So it's kind of interesting because normally it's backwards, right? A lot of people go towards very high squeezable stocks, if that's a word, and then grow to love the company. But this one is backwards. So I think Tupperware is very interesting and does have a lot of good upside potential. But like I said, I do feel that we have to just sit back and wait for the next Q2 earnings, and that should be fairly good. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Let me know you guys' thoughts on Tupperware and whether you are buying, selling, holding, what you've been doing. What's your viewpoint in at least the short term? And as far as the price point, if it was to squeeze, I know I have asked this in the past, but I just want to see if anything has changed fundamentally. But if it does squeeze, how high do you think it can go? So give yourself a shout out in the comments. One final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of free promos, and that is with Moomoo. Link in the description below and also the comments. Completely free to sign up for an account, but if you do throw $100 at it, you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, so even that is a crazy deal. But better yet, you do get $50 cash reward. So this is a win-win, one of the best deals that you can get. Link in the description below and also the comments. With that said, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money eventually on Tupperware.